While vaping, a biker found a duffel bag with $300,000. He had no idea it belonged to a billionaire woman. The sun was beginning to dip below the horizon, casting long, golden shadows across the desolate stretch of Highway 9. For Marcus, a mechanic by trade and a biker by soul, this time of day was sacred. It was the hour when the roar of his engine drowned out the noise of the world, leaving only the rhythm of the road and the wind against his leather jacket. He pulled over to a quiet gravel shoulder, far from the city's chaos, just to take a moment. He needed to clear his head, to breathe. Marcus reached into his saddlebag, pulling out his vape pen. As he exhaled a thick cloud of vapor that danced in the cooling air, his eyes scanned the ditch beside him. That's when he saw it. Half buried in the tall, dry grass was a black duffel bag. It looked out of place, too pristine for the rugged terrain, yet abandoned as if it were trash. Curiosity, that dangerous human instinct, took hold. Marcus killed his engine, the sudden silence ringing in his ears. He walked over, kicking at the dirt around the bag before unzipping it. What he saw made his breath catch in his throat, freezing the vapor on his lips. Stacks of cash, neatly bundled, crisp $100 bills filling the bag to the brim. His hands trembled as he did a quick mental calculation. There had to be $300,000 sitting right there in the dust. For a long minute, Marcus just stared. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. $300,000. It was enough to fix up his aging house, pay off every debt he'd ever incurred, maybe even buy a new bike that didn't rattle when it hit 60 miles per hour. It was freedom. It was a miracle. "No one saw me," a voice whispered in the back of his mind. "It's just lying here. Finders keepers." He zipped the bag halfway, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He imagined the life he could have. But then he looked closer. Tucked into the side pocket was a small leather-bound ledger. Inside, written in elegant looping script, was a name, Eleanor Vance. Below it, a phone number and a note, "Emergency Fund, do not lose." Marcus knew that name. Everyone in the state knew Eleanor Vance. She was a reclusive billionaire, a woman who had built an empire from nothing, but had recently been in the news for her massive charitable donations to children's hospitals. If this money was hers, losing it wasn't just an inconvenience, it could be catastrophic. Maybe it was meant for a surgery. Maybe it was for a school. The moral weight of the situation crashed down on him harder than any physical blow. He thought about his own mother, who had taught him that character is what you do when no one is watching. He thought about the look in his own eyes if he spent that money, knowing it was stolen from someone who might be desperate. The excitement of the find curdled into a heavy knot of anxiety in his stomach. Keeping it would make him a thief. Returning it, that felt like madness. Who returns $300,000? With shaking hands, Marcus pulled out his phone. The signal was weak, flickering between 1 and 2 bars. He dialed the number in the ledger. "Hello?" The voice on the other end was frail, trembling with panic. "Is this Miss Vance?" Marcus asked, his voice cracking. I think I found something that belongs to you." The conversation that followed was a blur of tears and disbelief. Eleanor explained that the bag had fallen from her armored courier vehicle during a sharp turn miles back. She hadn't realized until she arrived at her destination, and she was devastated. That money was earmarked for a wing of a pediatric cancer center, scheduled to break ground tomorrow. Without it, the project would stall and families would suffer. "I'm coming to get you," she said, her voice firm now, filled with a renewed hope. "Please, don't move." 2 hours later, a sleek limousine pulled up behind Marcus's battered motorcycle. When Eleanor Vance stepped out, she didn't look like a titan of industry. She looked like a grateful grandmother. When Marcus handed over the heavy duffel bag, the silence between them was profound. She opened it, verified the contents, and then she did something unexpected. She hugged him. "You saved more than just money today, young man. You saved hope. She tried to offer him a reward, a check for $50,000, but Marcus shook his head. I just did what was right, ma'am. I couldn't live with myself otherwise. But Eleanor insisted. She didn't give him cash. Instead, she offered him a job running logistics for her foundation, a position that would secure his future and allow him to help others, just as he had helped her. As Marcus watched the limousine drive away, disappearing into the twilight, he took one last puff from his vape. The air tasted different now, sweeter, lighter. He realized that the real treasure wasn't the $300,000 he had found, but the integrity he had kept. In a world obsessed with getting rich quick, Marcus had discovered that the richest thing a person can possess is a clean conscience. And that, he knew, was worth more than all the cash in the world. Thanks for watching.